Councillor Perks.
Thank you, Speaker. We've had a number of points of view spoken to at this meeting, and I just wanted to address some of them because I think on this one, more than anything we've debated yet this term, it's critical we find the right line, the right path forward. First, I think we've heard a number of different views about what went on in terms of the evaluation of the land and how it was done, and did members of the TPA do their job, and we've heard a whole narrative around that. And it's important that we've got some confidential advice about how to get more clear answers on that piece. And that's very important. It's also critical, and this is why I think what the Mayor has done is of such great value, that while that's happening, members of the public are absolutely clear in their mind that none of us is interfering with that investigation. And that's important because we've had different narratives. Some members of this council say one thing happened, other members of this council say another thing happened. There's a dispute about it. Let's take us out of that and have an absolutely clear investigation of the facts. That's why I think what the Mayor is offering in terms of temporarily suspending membership of the board and appointing a small group to oversee the parking authority while they do the investigation is critical. And I can't speak to all the reasons why it's the TPA that does the investigation or why the work of the Auditor General isn't sufficient for all of our purposes, but it absolutely is the case that we need that work done. And we need to have it done in a way that's above reproach. And also in a way that can't be used for political purposes. The Speaker already had to call Councillor Mammoliti to order for remarks he was making about Councillor Fillion in this debate. Already there's an effort to try to say, you can't listen to so-and-so's version. You can't listen to so-and-so's version. There's already an effort to try to taint the interpretation of what happened. And that's why it's important no member of this council can be seen to be leading the investigation. That's why I'm afraid I can't support Councillor Matlow's motion. But there's something else here that's really critical that we have to turn our minds to. In the course of this investigation, it has been revealed to us and the public that a former member of Toronto City Council, a lobbyist now, got $1 million, $1 million in fees from one public entity, the Emery Village BIA, to lobby another public entity, the Toronto Parking Authority. That shocks the mind. Former Councillor Paul Sutherland, it's been reported in the Toronto Star and elsewhere, a former member of this council was paid by the Emery Village BIA $1 million in public money to lobby another public corporation of the City of Toronto. I need to know what was going on that BIA, that they were making that kind of an expense. I don't think there's a single person who voted for any one of you who thinks that a former politician should be getting that kind of remuneration from a public agency to lobby another public agency. And that's why Councillor Davis's motion is as important as anything else that you've had in front of you this term. We need to absolutely make it clear to members of the public that we do not condone that, and we want to understand how that happened and what we have to do to make sure it never happens again. So, the final thing I wanted to say in closing is, while I know Councillor Fillion has made, and I think will make a plea that he should remain on the board, I think that the ability of some voices in this council to say that that would somehow taint or color or interfere with or raise questions about the independence of the investigation is sufficient to my mind to say, no, Councillor Fillion, despite the fact that you have done heroic work here, we cannot give the people who've been putting roadblocks up all along another excuse. It has to be without your participation at this point. Thank you for the work you've done to bring it this far, and I hope that we get full answers in front of the public as a result of the work you did.